always been someone who pushed against the current. I saw it in my mother, and for years I lived it myself, always striving, always trying to hold things together. And like so many women, I thought that's what we were meant to do. When I was pregnant with my son, I remember I still didn't stop. I worked through it. I kept on pushing. And for a long time, I didn't realize the stress was actually breaking me down. I worked throughout that period. I never really took maternity leave. What's maternity leave when you're working for yourself? So I didn't stop. The thing is, I remember my mom being sick for years when I was 13. And even as a child, I remember her going to different doctors and they couldn't tell what was wrong with her. But now in hindsight, I think it was stress, stress from her own marriage breaking apart, from carrying too much and really never having that opportunity to stop and breathe. She was like on survival mode. So years later, when it happened to me and I pushed myself to the brink, I was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor. And the doctor told me that I'd be on medication for life. And, God, I still remember those period or even that exact moment thinking, what? How did I get this? But of course, it was the stress pushing and pushing. So I was on that meds for years. And I know now that stress is a killer. Anxiety is a killer. And most of the time, we don't even realize that, our way of life is eating us alive until, of course, our body forces us to stop. But without that, we just keep pushing through. So here's what I've learned. I've learned that there is another way. And today, I want to share with you how to shift from burnout to balance, because hustle is not the way. I personally think flow is, even though it's not as easy to let go of hustle and step into flow. And there's also a thin line. So I'm going to really approach this in a very sensitive way. And at the end of this episode, I'm also going to do an intuitive guided practice. So let's see how that goes. All right. Welcome to the Inner Power Game podcast. And with you today, you have Falake. So let's talk about overwhelm to flow and how we can literally, run a business, run our life without burning out, because burnout is a thing right now. Many of us push ourselves and then we burn out, which means we then have to start all over again. Let's dive into a few things that might be able to help you to shift from this burnout tendency, this tendency to always feel overwhelmed when you are going for the things you want. And let's find ways where we can do this with a little bit more flow. Because the truth of the matter is that we've been conditioned to believe that the more we push, the more we hustle, the more we grind, the more successful we'll be. But seriously, let's be real. Pushing and this hustle culture, is it actually making us happier? Is it making us healthier? Is it making us more fulfilled? I think not. The amount of women that I speak to that over the years have had to start afresh because they burn themselves out is unreal. And the sad thing is, we push ourselves to the brink, to the wall, we burn out before we realize that there is another way. And the purpose of not just episode, but like this whole Inner Power Game podcast is to help us find a better way before we get to that brink, before we get to that wall, to be more conscious of how we're living our life and to be more courageous to do things a little bit differently. Because this hustle culture, this push, go fast, go hard culture, it glorifies exhaustion and it makes us think that burnout is a badge of honor. People talk about being busy, like it makes them feel more important. And if you are taking it a little bit more easy and you are spending more time on yourself and you're giving yourself the leisure of rest, you can actually be seen as lazy because the society glorifies exhaustion, glorifies busy. This culture, this hustle, push culture, it keeps us trapped in survival mode. never feeling like we're good enough, we're doing enough, constantly having to make ends meet. And because this is how we now know to operate, this is all we know. So many people are disconnected from their body, disconnected from their intuition, because they're just too busy doing to actually listen to what their body is telling them, what their intuition is telling them, what that inner wisdom is telling them, because we don't have time to stop and really listen to what is really ours. So this hustle culture is not just exhausting, it's also counterproductive. And I really want to approach this with a little bit more sensitivity, because I know when we're running a business, I've been in business forever, like probably since I was 17 and younger. I've always been in a kind of business, family business to my own business. And I know how challenging it can be when we run our business, and that there is ups and downs, and days where cash flow is low, days where cash flow is high, days where we have to chase clients, days where we have to chase sales. So there is a need to be proactive and to do. I totally understand this. But I just want to bring a little bit of a different perspective that will help us maybe balance things a little bit more. Because when we are just living in this exhaustion mode, this hustle pushing mode, it can give us the opposite of the things we actually want. It can be a little bit more counterproductive, like I say. It creates businesses that feel heavy, where your work feels like it's forced and lives feel like it's always a constant struggle, like you're always reaching for something, always trying to aim for something, always trying to achieve something and never getting there. There's always something. And as women, particularly, we feel this even more, I think, because we're not just running businesses, we're also holding up families, we're managing households, we're supporting communities in our own way. And, women are the backbone of so many things, and men, but like women, the way we are naturally is that we want to hold so many things, but at what cost, or what cost to our health? So I want to propose a different way to always being busy and instead to being productive. Because when I work with clients, one of the first things I always ask them is, are you actually being productive, or are you just keeping busy? Because it's very easy to just be busy and you're not even getting the results that you're supposed to be getting. The diary is filled with meetings that you don't even have to be in, but people feel so like, I cannot decline the meeting. I have to be there. And you know that you're not really, it's not like bringing anything to you being in those meetings. And yet your diary is like so filled up with meetings and time is so precious. Or like you're just going up and down, doing this and doing that, when really you could be doing less. So I always ask my clients, are you actually being productive, or are you just keeping busy? It's very easy to just be keeping busy, because especially if we still have this wanting to please habits around us, like when we don't want to upset people and we don't want to set strong boundaries because we feel people might not take it the right way. So we say a lot of yes and we're just busy for nothing. So there's a difference between busy, which is like constantly moving, constantly doing everything, but you still feel behind, to being productive, where you're focused in a way that is focused action with purpose. And this is the real thing. This is actually the big nugget here, like doing things with purpose, doing things with intention. This is like one of the biggest things I think I speak to my clients, my students on, how we can change our ways to be more intentional with our time and what we do. Because when you start to live life like this, you're going to start to find that you do less, but you get bigger results, you move further, and you quantum leap. Intention and purpose are two vibrations that are so powerful. It's like it's like double barrel. It's so powerful. Intention, purpose. And when we start to step into this energy of living our life with intention and purpose, something happens that's magical that I cannot explain with words. You have to experience it. It's like things happen in ways that feels magical. That's the only way I can say. So think about it. How much of your day is currently spent on things that move the needle? Or are you just filling up time because you think you should? These are the little things that can help us start to tweak how we're spending our day. Have a look at your diary. What does that diary look like? Have a look at today's schedule. What does that look like? Are there things that you could cut out from your daily schedule? The other thing you can do is, maybe for one day, you can track everything that you do. And you can ask, is this truly necessary? Or am I just keeping busy? The other one that I also speak to my clients about is not worrying too much when you cannot do something. So, for example, sometimes we worry a lot about, the house being untidy, or the pile of washing that you've got to fold up, or something. Could be anything. And we worry that, okay, we need to get to that, but we're not getting to it. You see, when we're also worried about all these things that we have to do, what happens is that as you carry those worry and you're holding it in your body, a lot of your energy is being used for those worry, which leaves you with less energy to do other things. So one of the other practice that you can start to do is to ease up a little bit with the things you haven't done and, that you need to get to. And we're going to replace that with trusting yourself a little bit more, that at the right time, when the right time comes, you're going to have lots of energy and you're going to be energized to do those things. Now, the reason why I say, approach this with caution is because it takes a little bit of time to be able to find the balance with this. I don't want to teach here to say, it's okay to not do anything, to procrastinate. This is not what this is about. This is more of an ability to trust ourselves that we are proactive enough and that the right energy always shows up for the right things at the right time. So I'm using the laundry because this is one of the things that most women would have to do, washing or folding the laundry. And if I use this as an example, even I find with myself, like if I'm worried about something like that, and I just allow myself for it to just be there so that I'm not worrying about it when I haven't done it, I have a lot of energy to do other things. And then I find that when the right time comes, I don't even know how, I'm in there folding everything up and putting everything away. So this is an approach. This sounds so simple, but it's actually a very powerful one because we can bring it into other areas of our life, like even in work. When you have something that's just on your mind to do, trusting yourself that you will do it and you will do it on time, but you want to do it in the right energy. So let's go into the next section that I really want to talk about, which is very much linked into this. And this is about how we shift from stress to flow. And it's all about what I'm already talking about, like how do we master our energy a little bit better? Because energy mastery actually changes everything. So if hustle doesn't work, this is what works. If I'm saying that less of the hustle, let's step into flow, and you're saying, but for how? It's about your energy mastery. The answer is in energy mastery. And this is something this is literally the whole, majority of my work, learning how to work with your energy rather than against it. This is the foundation for everything I teach in Inner Power Game. When I was healing from burnout, I instinctively knew I needed something deeper. And this was when I started to learn about meditation, energy mastery, shamanic healing, alchemy, all those things. And these were not just nice practices, it actually saved my life because like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor. And after being on medication for years, these practices was what helped me heal and totally heal the brain tumor. So now I teach these same tools to women because I know how powerful these practices are. And Here are some of the biggest shifts that has helped me move from overwhelm to flow. First one is learning the rhythm of your energy. Like women, we work in cycles. Our energy is not the same every day. Our energy moves, it changes. So we need to learn to stop forcing productivity when our body is asking us for rest. I use that example of the laundry, or when things are on our mind and we're going, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to get to this. And sometimes we force ourselves when our body is not even in that mode, when our body is not ready to do the thing, our body is in a different state. But we just expect that our body should always be ready to do the things, because this is how, again, society, culture tells us that we have to be, that we have to push through, that we have to hustle through, that we have to always be doing. So I'm inviting you instead to learn how to align your work with your natural energy highs and lows. As a woman, for example, when I'm in my time of the month, those 3 days, everybody knows that I do not really do much. I retreat from the world, go into my own world. I don't usually have meetings. And if I can have my way, I wouldn't have to really see anybody. I do more things around going for walks in nature, meditation, journaling, and really using those 3 days for me. And I always feel like it's like restoring my energy and holding my energy. And after that, there is this new vibration and this new vitality that always comes out when I come out of my me days, But it takes creating these boundaries where people know that this is the way I work, this is the way my energy works, and this is the way I am. And then people know that, those 3 days, she's not going to be available. So we need to learn how our own body works, the rhythm of our own energy, and work with it, not work against it. This is so important. And the more you do this, the more you find other things of how your energy works. Like when you're more productive during the day, whether it's in the morning or in the evening, you start to learn which ways you're better able to communicate with people. And when you do, you would know, for example, if you're a coach, whether you should be doing video calls or just audio. You're going to start to learn what saps your energy and all this stuff. So it's so important to take the time to learn the rhythm of your own energy. The second thing is how we create more space and not more to-do lists. Most people pile on more things. They just pile on things to do, especially when they feel left behind. There's I gotta do all this, and so they keep adding to their list. And the real answer actually is to do less, but with intention, like I told you. It sounds silly, but when you start to practice this way of being where you're more coming from, first of all, intention, like I said, kind of magic really happens, and you have to experience it to really believe this. So it's not about adding more to our to-do list. It's actually living space, like you would have heard me say, for some magic to happen for us. So I want to ask yourself, what can I remove that no longer serves me? Because one of the biggest things I've learned along the way is that it's less about what we do and more about the energy in which we do it. And this is one of my biggest lessons. Think about this very carefully. I'm going to repeat that just one more time. It's less about what we do and more about the energy in which you do it. And when you know this to be true, what it does is it encourages you and it invites you to slow down and recalibrate your energy first before you do anything that is important. So it could be in sending that pitch out, that contract, that sales page, that sales promo, that important conversation, those big things that you need to do. When you know that it's less about the action, but more about the energy to which you do it, you slow down, recalibrate first before you do those things. And the energy to which you do it is what brings the best result. So when you start to create more space to recalibrate, to be in a better state of mind, to be in an aligned energy, you will start to be more productive. You will start to achieve in ways that feels when people say, oh my gosh, I've had a quantum leap, because things happen so fast and that's magic, or you think it's magic. It's really your energy working for you in better ways. The third thing is in how we regulate our nervous system, not just occasionally, but daily. Because this hustle culture, this working to overwhelm, is really stress, pushing you into this fight or flight mode where things like thinking clearly, creativity all shuts down. So what we want to start to do is not to act in this fight or flight mode. We want to start to act in from a mode where our body feels safe to do, safe to be. Another big thing I've seen with my clients, especially the ones that are doing very well, is that I've seen that we achieve more when we feel safe in our body. There's almost like this message that we're sending to our body that it's okay to achieve, it's okay to go for bigger goals, and it's okay to hold it. When our body is in a fight or flight mode where we are pushing, we're hustling, we're like, on survivor mode, we're not operating at the fullest version that we can. But when the body is in a rest mode, the body feels, actually, I can hold more wealth. I can hold more love. I can hold more relationships. I can hold more this. I can hold more that, because your body feels safe to hold it. And these are all subconscious things that's going on in our body. Sometimes we do not know it. And this is also what causes, if we're in fight or flight mode, is what causes things around like self-sabotage, because where the body feels it's not safe, it cannot hold it. Subconsciously, you will self-sabotage maybe the success that you're having, the growth that you're having, so that you can drop it and your body can carry less. But when we start to regulate our nervous system and our body feels safe, subconsciously, you're feeling like you can hold more success. Isn't it weird? It's this way of doing things is just so beautiful. And I just wish more people can learn this way. So here are some like simple daily practice that you can use to start to reset your body and calm your nervous system and start to, trick your body into feeling like it's safe, it's okay. We can hold it. We can hold it all. And it's fine. Things around breath work, slowing down your breathing to shift out of stress, even just a few minutes a day when you feel like you're rushing. If you're at work, in the office environment, you can go into a toilet, close the toilet door, and just for 2 minutes, calm your breathing down. Breathe into your stomach. Breathe into your womb if you're a woman, and just slow your breathing down, and this will shift you out of the stress. Other things like energy clearing is one of the things that I do with my private clients every 2 weeks or once a month, because one of the things that we don't see and affects us a lot is in the energy that we hold. And we hold energy from the people we're interacting with, our own clients, especially if you're a coach, if you're a healer. We hold other people's energy. We also hold things that, are stressful, the worries, the anxiety, all these things are energetic vibration that can really settle on us and make us feel heavy and slow us down. So energy clearing is one of the biggest work that I do with my private clients in the Feminine Wealth Mastery. And this is just about shaking off the energy of what is not yours to carry, the energy of overwhelm, and resetting the frequency and making you feel lighter so that you can move with a little bit more ease, you can carry more and all those things. So energy clearing is one of, it's very crucial that we do this regularly. And the other one, and I talk about this a lot again, is meditation. Actively taking time to meditate. 5 minutes of stillness can give you more clarity than 5 hours of overthinking. Like 5 minutes of just sitting down, coming back into your body, closing your eyes if you can, or if you cannot, use something else, and just coming back to yourself. you get a lot of clarity on what you should do next and when you should do it. And this type of clarity is what propels us faster than just doing. And lastly is retune ourselves from acting in survival mode. This is a big one. A lot of us, we've been brought up, we've been conditioned to act from survival mode. And as adults, we're constantly chasing, trying to meet with the bills, trying to meet the daily expectations. And that's all we do. We're just literally surviving. But when we learn to retune ourselves from this survival mode, it's a different kind of magic that happens from this. I know firsthand how hard it is to let go of this like hustle culture, this hustle and this working to overwhelm. I know it. And every day I'm still tuning myself with how I work with it and how I step a little bit away from that into more of a flow state. And I know it can be hard, especially when we've been conditioned to believe that this is the only way to succeed. But I promise you, flow is the real key to success. And flow doesn't mean that you're not going to have the ups and downs, that you're not going to work hard, that you're not going to have to push sometimes. This is not what it's about. That you have to be lazy, because this is another thing that I hear people say. It's like, you're just telling people to be lazy. This is not flow. Flow is about finding your own way of doing things in a way that doesn't push you to burn out, in a way that doesn't push you to become overwhelmed, and then you drop everything and then you're starting again. Flow is about finding balance, finding mastery with how you use your energy, and learning to ride the waves, not to push against the waves. And if you're ready to move out of this exhaustion to ease, to move out of this burnout to balance, let's do this together. Right now, I have this freedom and lifestyle design 6 weeks fast track, because the key here, I feel, is that if we have the right energy as the foundation to which we do anything, we actually step out of this overwhelm. We step into flow naturally. So right now, if you're doing all the things, you're doing the work, you're doing all the things, but life still feels like unfulfilled and you don't feel that, you don't feel the freedom, this could be that you're focused on the wrong thing. Like I said in this episode, your tendency to fuel your survival mode is actually keeping you from feeling safe to do and to be who you're truly here to be. And that is someone who's like living their creativity in all the ways. And the clients that I see that are doing great things, holding more of everything, they're not focused on just surviving. They're energized by a bigger vision. And this bigger vision helps them to create a solid foundation with the daily to do things. So my invitation to you is to check out my 6 weeks fast track coaching program, which is focused on like a total overall of how you're creating freedom and how you're creating the lifestyle that you want, not just surviving and existing on this hamster wheel of busy and hustle, but to create a life that is very intentional in areas of energy, money and time, relationships, your confidence, and to act with purpose, to create a freedom and lifestyle blueprint for your inner and outer fulfillment, to create a life that you actually love living. So this 6 weeks is like a fast track where I work with you closely, one-on-one, and we look at all areas of your life and what you want and how to achieve it. If this calls to you, find me on any of the social media platform, but usually I prefer Instagram, or you can catch me on LinkedIn. So let's do a little bit of exercise, just a few minutes. This is so intuitive. It's not planned. And let's see how it goes just to finish this episode. I want to introduce you to this concept of flow in a different way. I want to introduce you to this concept that flow, even though we're saying acting flow actually starts from within, starts within your body. So when there is flow within the body, there is flow externally. When there is blockages within the body, there will be blockages externally. What is within, we see externally. So if we're talking about stepping into flow in our business, in our life, I always feel we've got to start within the body. And this is why this energy clearing that I do once a month with my private clients, this is why it works so amazingly, because everything begins within. So what we're going to do with this simple practice is to just feel into where there might be blocks within your own body and noticing it, acknowledging it, and then helping it drop a little bit more. Because when we shine light on something, when we put attention on something, when we direct energy to something, we clear it. So just have a sit down wherever you are, if you're in the right place. If not, do this at another time. It's going to take you a few minutes. I want you to sit down, and I want you to find put your feet on the floor, on the ground, wherever you are, and just make sure that your feet are firmly on the floor, on the ground, and that you're sitting upright. You could be sitting on a chair, you could be sitting on a bed, wherever you are, it's okay, as far as you're comfortable. And I want you to know that this is a safe space for you to do this, and it's safe, it's okay. So as you sit down, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to feel the sole of your feet to the ground, to the floor. Just make sure that you observe that it's just grounded. And as you do that, I want you to imagine that there is this root of a tree just pulling your feet to the ground, so then it feels a little bit more grounded. And as you're being pulled down, firmly grounded, I want you to breathe in and just drop it into your body. And as you drop it into your body, you're going to feel your shoulders drop, and you feel a little bit relaxed in your body. And then as you feel a little bit relaxed in your body, I want you to do it one more time. Feel those roots of the tree in the ground. It pulls your feet, the sole of your feet, to the ground again, pulls you in, and you feel so grounded, like something is pulling you down. And you take a deep breath, and then you breathe out, and you feel your shoulders relax again. And right now, your body feels a little bit softer. Body drops. And then I just want you to stay here for a few minutes and just observe yourself in this state. I just want you to observe what you feel. Scan around your body, see. You might feel a tension somewhere. Notice where the tension is. A part of you might make a noise, maybe your stomach. Your attention might go to your knees. Just observe right now what your body is telling you, where your attention is going to. You need to notice if there's anywhere that you're feeling kind of tension. Just give yourself permission to release that tension. Release it. It could be your jaw, just release your shoulders. Let it drop your stomach. Again, just notice in your body where there's any tension, any blocks, anywhere your attention is being diverted to. And as you notice, just go to that spot and you just breathe into that spot with ease. There's nothing to do. You just breathe in and you just drop. I want you to observe your body again, and you feel your body a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more at ease. I want you to bring a smile into your face. And with this, we bring in a little bit of gratitude, because this brings a different kind of healing energy into our body. And then when you're ready, you're going to open your eyes, and that's it. So this simple little practice helps us to step into flow, because it releases our body from what is keeping us stuck and what is stopping us from moving forward. It feels so simple, and this is how life should be. But the result of this little practice that we've done can be so huge. And this is what this episode is all about, to teach you that there is another way. And this other way, it feels light, it feels expansive, it feels joyful, it feels beautiful, and yet you're going to be achieving more in your business, in your life. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Do leave me your comments, your review, give us a like wherever you're watching it, and share it with others so other people can benefit from it. If there is anything you'd like me to talk about on the episode, let me know. Find me on Instagram for like a B, or on LinkedIn. To be honest, I'm on all of them, but I'd love to hear from you. If there's a topic you want me to cover, let me know. And if you want to work with me, I think right now, the Freedom and Lifestyle Design, the 6 weeks fast track, it's an immersion really. It's probably the best. And there's currently an offer going. So I think you absolutely love it, because this is the only thing I probably have right now that's like 6 weeks fast track, working with me directly. It's going to be beautiful. Let's create the life that you want. All right. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next episode. This has been the Inner Power Game, and with you today is Falake.